No Totri today, but it is Musical Chairs Day. It's time to get confrontational on PHNX Sun Devils. Wednesday here on PHNX Sun Devils, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. I am Erik Ruby, the stupidest guy, the dumbest guy alive, whatever I have been deemed. Holding it down as Anthony Totri has tummy problems, some food poisoning, taking sweet little Totri out today. Maybe he's ducking our special musical chairs guest that we'll get to here in just a second. But first, I want to welcome everybody in. Of course, we've got the mustache behind the Mac, the deli man, Dief, making all of the magic happen. And of course, we are still doing our fundraiser for Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. Collectively, over ALLCITY, we're over halfway there. Donate below. Donate below. Make sure that we have more donations than the Wildcats show. Sharon says it's an Erik solo show today. Not true. Because yes, we have the Dief. But we also have a man infamous with Sun Devil fans. A man who's scared of confrontation. A man who has been willing to jump on this show because I will jump on his at 2 o'clock. Big Ten Jed, Sharon, everybody in the chat, please give me a nice, cold welcome to PHNX Wildcats host, the dog, Damon Farrell. Boo! Boo! Everybody. So, those of you wondering, what is this? Why is this happening? What's going on? It is ALLCITY Spirit Week, and we have Musical Chairs Day, which means we are switching up hosts on shows. Now, that's not why Totri is gone. In fact, Totri was supposed to be the one going on the Wildcats show. So maybe he's ducking smoke.
I think he is ducking the smoke. Honestly, that didn't even pop in my head until you said it out loud. And then I was like, he doesn't want any piece of the AZ Wildcats show later today. Meanwhile, I was told I was going to be on this show. Jump for joy. I mean, I was doing jumping jacks. I was doing backflips, Erik. I mean, I'm just thrilled to be here.
Why?
I just, me and ASU fans, we get along so well.
Sure.
I have such a great relationship with so many in this chat, and I'm just thrilled to be talking sports with one of my great friends, Erik.
That is, what's interesting, Damon, is that we're such rivals when it comes to the college sports world. But I would consider you a good friend of mine.
Totally.
Which honestly unlocks a little bit more, right? Because I feel like we can dig a little deeper. We could throw some jabs in there. Today's show, we're talking about the individual ceiling for all the key players on offense and on defense. Because in order for this, Damon, I don't know if you noticed, but Arizona State football, they were Big 12 champions last year.
I had almost forgotten because you guys hardly ever mention it.
No.
So,
when you win a Big 12 championship in a sport like football, it's something that has some longevity. It's something that has a long lifespan to talk about it.
Sure.
And I don't know if you know this, but now they're going to try and win back-to-back Big 12 championships. And of course, they're losing.
I thought we already crowned them.
I mean, it's close. We're pretty much there. They got to play the games
I don't
first.
even need to see a season.
Listen. By the way, Sharon giving you credit saying Damon showed up at 1 a.m. for the 24-hour stream. Damon did put in a graveyard shift with us on the 24-hour stream.
I think it was past 1 a.m. Well,
yeah, it was like 1 to like 3:30.
Yeah, and then I of course had to beat Anthony Totri in college football 25 with the ASU Sun Devils, which
it's tough.
That was like on his own stream.
It was a tough look
on his home stream on his home court.
Tough look. Again, maybe why he's ducking today.
Yeah, feels like it.
Big Ten Jed in the chat, aka Jed Fish, says, Damon, you are the reason why I left Arizona and the millions of dollars and them out of that hole of Tucson. That's the reason why I left Arizona.
That's funny, Jed, because I would have taken a bullet for you, man. I would have. I actually have a funny story. When we beat Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl, about probably 2-3 weeks prior to Jed Fish leaving for Washington, I was in my hotel room, which happened to be the team hotel.
Wow,
we were
flex.
not on the top floor. So this is why it was surprising. We were like kind of in the middle, and all of a sudden, some drunk guy, hey, we haven't really been there before. We beat Oklahoma in a game. Arizona fan, hammered drunk, spills my dad's red wine all over me. He knocks it over. It's all over my pants. I have to go change my pants up in the room. As I'm up there, Jed Fish comes out of the elevator. I could hear him just by his voice, and I remember I told my mom, I was like, "You hear that?" And I literally said, I'd take a bullet for that man. And 3 weeks later, I was like, I hate you, Jed Fish. That's how my brain works, Erik.
Well, we're not here to talk about Jed Fish, although we do appreciate Big Ten Jed being in the chat. We are here, obviously, for Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. Please, 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 please hit that donate button. If you want to hit the donate button, super chats don't count towards that. But if you donate and then you chat, we will read your chat on screen, just like a super chat. Make sure that there is more money donated in the Sun Devil stream than the U of A stream. We cannot let them win. We can't let them have that. Okay. Big 12 champions don't lose when it comes to donations. Okay.
Oh, I've heard that ASU fans are notoriously not very charitable.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to let him say that?
That's just what I've heard.
You're going to let him say that?
That's just what I've heard. So
hit that donate
I'm
button.
Just kind of throwing that out there in the ether.
We're obviously at hump day in the middle of the week. We're just over 5,000 of our $10,000 that we're trying to raise across all of ALLCITY. 56 hours left. Hit that donate button. Do it for a good cause. Leah says, I never thought I'd see the day. I mean, people don't know this, but I mean, former PHNX Sun Devils producer. Damon
This is true. I mean, I wasn't like the full-time producer, but I definitely produced a post-game here and there. My guy Shane Dieffenbach can attest to that.
Were you there
back
for
in the early days?
The miracle at McHale?
I was there for the greatest shot in Arizona basketball history. Of course, the regular season win against the Arizona Wildcats.
Now, as much as I would love to talk about basketball, Damon, let's talk about
that was
football.
Good. That was good. You moved off that well.
Yeah, as much as I would love to relive those great memories.
Damon, you see the big man we got yesterday?
Yeah,
dude, I did see that.
More
17 in Spain?
It's huge.
I mean, what division is that guy?
He, to be fair,
Series B.
Yeah, he was
division.
not Series B. He was on. Well, I guess technically Series B, but he was on the. Was it Canaris? Whatever.
It was like the B team.
The B team.
Yeah.
It literally said his stats B team. And I was like,
yeah. I think the
Good
stats I
stats.
saw yesterday, the 6 were on the A team, and I think he was 16 on the B team. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. Okay, we're here to talk about football. Now,
This guy's actually really good.
We talk about, obviously, Arizona State following up Cam Skattebo. Don't know if you know this, but Cam Skattebo had a great season last year, Big 12 champion season.
Never heard of him.
And ASU is going to have to make up for production. And if they want to live up to these standards that we have been setting for them, that I've talked about with you off air, Damon, they're going to need multiple players to reach their ceiling or get close to their ceiling. So what I want to do today is I want to unpack some individual ceilings for some key players. We'll have you on here for the first segment here where we're talking offense. And obviously, when you start on offense, you start with the quarterback. This is something you and I have talked about a lot, about just how good is Sam Leavitt. Now, obviously, being a U of A fan, there might be a little bias there from you, and there might be a little bias here from us covering ASU. Let's try to be as unbiased as possible here, Damon. I don't know if that's possible for you. Let's try.
I'm always very, very, honest, Erik.
Fill in the blank.
Yes.
Sam Leavitt is the blank best quarterback in the Big 12.
Honestly, I would probably going into the season, I'd probably say number one. But I also am that is not as etched in stone for me as it may be for a lot of ASU fans. I still think that he has a good amount to prove, and I guess I want to see it in maybe some of he was great in the Iowa State game. I want to see it a little bit more in maybe a non-conference game like in the Texas game, where I didn't think he played a great game, although he did extend plays with his legs at an effective rate. Throwing the football, though, left a little bit to be desired. But I think that, he is, I think going into the season, just based off of what he did last season, you have to give him that number one spot, because looking at this list here, who else on this list has proven that?
I think it's like Rocco Becht, I feel like is somebody who could have somebody in the conversation. And Josh Hoover is definitely a sleeper in this conference.
Avery Johnson has a super high ceiling.
But he didn't have a great season last year. Sawyer Robertson, I know, is good, but I do think that they're going to need to have him prove it at least on a higher level. He had really good stats last year, and Baylor was a surprise. I'm ready to put him in maybe like a contention for like top 5, but I'm not ready to put him near that top spot.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are high on like Brennan Sorsby from Cincinnati. I don't really know how I feel. I haven't watched a bunch of him, but
he's not terrible.
I've seen some people say that they think he's going to be like really, really good. So, I mean, these Big 12 quarterback rankings are interesting because every single time that someone comes out with a list, it's always different. It's always like there's not very much like a very set in stone, I think, ranking here. But in most of these rankings, you will see Sam Leavitt top 2, which I think is fair. Sure.
Because we've talked about Sam Leavitt so much, and I know that you get at ASU fans when they're like, how dare you disrespect Sam Leavitt, not saying he's the best in the country or whatever it is. By the way, William says, what is this show? Damon on the ASU show. It's Musical Chairs Day. And Totri ducked the smoke.
And Totri is sick.
Yeah. His tummy got sick on the day that he was supposed to confront U of A fans. It's interesting. What is it about Sam Leavitt that you're not totally sold on? Why is it not a surefire thing for you?
I think just the fact that so clearly ASU's engine last year was Cam Skattebo. And like, I think that I'm not trying to diminish Sam Leavitt here. So I know that pretty much anything I say here is kind of going to be a loss for me. And that's part of the reason I'm on this show, surrounded by all these people but I just think that there are more quarterbacks than just Sam Leavitt who could have done what Sam Leavitt did last year with the record, given Kenny Dillingham's coaching, given Cam Skattebo's Heisman-esque season. I think that he was the best running back in college football. I've said that. I thought he had a better season than Ashton Genty because he did it in a bigger conference.
You can say that again.
No, I've long held that belief. This is the thing about Damon with the bias. I know. I have some good takes. No one remembers the takes that are positive.
What do you think is the ASU take you've been attacked on the most?
Definitely the Jacob Kongaika is a cringe pathetic loser.
That was such a bad take.
And I'll put my hand up on that one.
That was
but
okay.
I'm not
So wait,
it.
no, okay, but just between us, that was pretty stupid.
I just said I'll put my hand up on that one. I'm sorry.
He was that was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not happy with it, but
you're not supposed to be
my response to it was not what I should have done.
We're growing here.
Correct.
On Musical Chairs Day. I mean, this is healing stuff right now. Damon admitting he's wrong for the first time ever in history.
I think I should have said it was a loser move. That was going back on it. If I could go back in time, I would have said loser move right here instead of cringe pathetic loser, because that was a cringe pathetic loser response.
That's a little insane. By the way, you want to tell people where you got your master's degree?
No, I don't want to talk about
You want to talk about that?
No.
At the best journalism school in the country?
I would prefer actually not to talk about
Come on, give me a little forks up.
No.
Come on.
Absolutely
Give me a little forks up. Oh, let's get that out of here. Okay.
Not safe for work.
Fill in the blank. I had you fill in the blank on Big 12. Sam Leavitt is the blank best quarterback in college.
And that's tougher for me because I think a lot of the guys that you're looking at overall in the college football landscape are very like, some of them have stuff to prove, right? Like Arch Manning is not a set and finished product.
Everyone thinks Lenore Sellers is going to be God this year. And
I was just about to say, I think I'd rather have Lenore Sellers, but
why?
So that's interesting.
What did you see last year? The potential, right?
Yeah,
the potential. Great. No, he wasn't great. You saw the potential of him being great. He had multiple games under 200 yards.
Didn't Sam have under 200 yards in his biggest game of his career?
Yeah, but he controlled the pace of that game down the stretch.
That's box score watching right there.
Yeah, come on.
I think Lenore Sellers is a better football player than Sam Leavitt, but I'm not saying that there's no world in which Sam Leavitt could have a better season next year.
What's the ceiling?
Number one.
Number one pick.
Man, that's tough. I think the defensive line class is too good for a quarterback to go number one. But
people get so horny for quarterbacks, dude. Like, especially during draft season. Am I wrong?
Cam Ward was projected a 5th round pick going into last season. He's the number 1 overall pick. So it's very dependent on, what goes into each particular season, right? But I think 1st round pick for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He has the size, he has the arm talent, he has the athletic ability. Do I think he'll be the number 1 overall pick? No, but I do think.
Do you think he can be?
I don't know, man. That is such a tough question.
I think his ceiling is number 1.
I mean, because like
we're talking best case scenario.
People think Drew Aller is great, and I hate Drew Aller. So it's like I just feel like quarterbacks are so kind of polarizing right now in college football.
There's also legs to what you said earlier. Like people come out of nowhere every single year.
Mm.
It's the same thing with people shooting down draft boards. Like Avery Johnson going into last year, you would have thought, oh my God, this guy's going to destroy this year. He's going to posture himself to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the country next year.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're not even talking about him in the top 3 in the Big 12. So I don't know. Things change so fast.
Like I haven't watched enough of DJ Lagway. I know people are really high
that's
on him.
Potential pick number 1.
Hey, Damon, you know what? Nobody has, because he is Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. People are so excited about him. Don't get me started.
You are a
Totre's in
hater.
love with Lagway and Sellers.
I like Lagway. I think Lagway's good. I think I'm way higher on Sellers than I am Lagway.
I'm a big Sellers fan. Maybe. You know.
I am too. I think he's super fun to watch. I just don't understand how people are putting him above Sam Leavitt going into this year.
No. I think Sam Leavitt's the best quarterback.
Diego Pavia, bro.
Cade Klubnik.
They're about to own Tennessee.
Stop.
Cade Klubnik is really good. Yeah.
Do you think he's better than Sam Leavitt?
Yes, I think that's one guy I would probably take over Sam Leavitt if I was tasked with, like, hey, you get to have one of each of these guys. I think I would probably take Cade Klubnik, but that's also another one where it's like Cade Klubnik is not infallible. He's had some mistakes. Clemson didn't have some like monster season last year.
No.
So
what do you think about Garrett Nussmeier?
Are you on the Nuss bus?
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah,
not really a fan at all. But
right now, I'm looking at a 2026 mock draft that came out today from something called Stadium Rant. 1-2, Nussmeier 1, Sellers 2 to the Browns.
Nussmeier 1.
What are we doing?
Nussmeier 1 is the worst time.
People love Garrett Nussmeier. People love him.
I was about to say, do you love Garrett Nussmeier? I don't want to get into Garrett Nussmeier.
We talked about too much of Garrett Nussmeier.
We've talked about way too much Garrett Nussmeier.
You also have the wild card of like a Bryce Underwood, right? Where it's like, how good is he as a true freshman?
Yeah.
Is he what people make him out to be?
Right.
Because then he's in that class of elite QBs in his first season of college football. Julian Sayin goes into a Ohio State team that is the most talented team in college football, where Will Howard doesn't have to do anything to win the national championship last year. So
where does Noah Fifita fall in all this?
I think regarding Fifita, I think he's become underrated because of the season he had last year, but I also think that he's rightfully so underrated.
He's the blank best quarterback in the Big 12.
Very middle of the pack. Every quarterback.
So not a top 10 quarterback in the country, like we were saying at this time. I say loosely. We're saying at this time last season.
Yeah, well, so this is what I'll say. I think he had a top 10 season his freshman year. I think he had the worst offensive coordinator situation in the sport last year with Dino Babers, and then with a tight ends coach taking over play calling for the first time in his life in game 3 of the season, and then that guy having his play calling duty stripped away from him. It was just it was a comedy of errors last year. There are times where I'll see a Noah Fifita below Connor Weigman, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, I don't know what you guys saw from Connor Weigman's 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio last year, where you think that he's going to be better. Like the highs of Noah Fifita that he's shown in college football are so much higher than Connor Weigman's highs.
Hate that guy though.
Connor Weigman?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on this list I'm looking at right now, he's the 4th quarterback in the Big 12
ahead of Avery Johnson, which is insane.
Sleeper, ahead of Josh Hoover, ahead of Jalen Daniels.
Texas A&M got better.
I don't think I think he's extremely overrated. Another guy that I think I always see ahead of Noah Fifita is Devin Dampier, where I'm like,
he was better than Noah Fifita in the game you guys played.
Was he? For sure?
Yes.
I mean, I know T-Mac had 320 yards in that game, but which obviously Dampier didn't have, and our defense was putrid in that game for sure. But Devin Dampier had a 1-to-1 touchdown interception ratio and threw for 2,000 yards last year, which if Fifita did that in the Mountain West, what would we be saying about him?
Yeah. Ship him later.
Yeah, I mean, and then meanwhile, everyone's like, bring him on to Utah. Like, let's get up this step in
expectations are the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I think that, obviously Dampier's a dual threat quarterback. That's a little bit different.
He's like their biggest dual threat quarterback that they've had.
Yeah,
since Alex Smith.
And Fifita doesn't have that aspect of his game, but Devin Dampier is also 5'10", 180 pounds, moving up a conference as a dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
How does that look? How does he look with the up level of physicality rather than being in the Mountain West? I think that stuff like that, like, we're overreacting a little bit too much to Noah Fifita. But I also think that I'm not going to be the guy who's like up here being like, he's better than Leavitt. He's better than Rocco Becht. He's better than Avery Johnson. Like, I don't think that that's fair after last season either. He has to go out there and prove it.
He does. You know what, Damon? I think you proved something here today. That we can all be level-headed. That we can all get along despite hating each other's schools. Now, when I'm on your show at 2 o'clock today, I'm not going to be nearly as civil.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm going to be a giant ass. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, hit that donate button. It's Musical Chairs Day at the All-City Network and right here at PHNX. That's why Damon is on, and that's why Totri left.
You want to give a incentive to donate? Maybe Damon can give you an incentive to the chat.
Donate $5. Damon shaves his head.
Wow.
Well, no, I was saying Damon gives an incentive for something Erik has to do. And then you can do vice versa on the Wildcat show.
Max says, in a competition of who's more of a bad guy between Erik and Damon, I give the edge to Shane.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I'm like the sweetest boy in this office.
I'm by far the meanest to Max. So
I don't know. I'm pretty mean to Max.
Are you?
I'm pretty mean to Max.
Fair enough.
I'm pretty mean to Max.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Everybody donate. It's super simple. If you could just give like $1, $2, anything helps. And it goes a long way. If
we raise $100,
you guys want to make a wager?
I would love to. On Vimy?
On Vimy? Okay, how about this? If we raise $100 on this show before the end of this show, and when I'm on the U of A stream, I will only disagree with everything that they say. I will make the biggest scene. I will ruin that show forever just by being on there for 15 and 20 minutes.
What does one stream get if it beats the other stream in donations?
Man,
I feel like
maybe you have to wear a shirt on your show.
Yeah. I mean,
let's do it.
Yeah, that's always the simplest of bets here, but that would just be such a nasty look.
That'd be a nasty screen. It'd be a pretty nasty screenshot either way.
But yeah, it really would be.
It's for a good cause.
So when I was at a school that will be unnamed for my master's program, I won a intramural softball league, and they handed out a T-shirt, and it happened to have a certain logo on it that was akin to a university that I'm not very much a fan of. And I specifically gave it away because I was like, I'll never wear this. And there was like a limited amount of shirts. So I gave it to one of my buddies. And now I'll probably have to be putting on one of these shirts. We'll see.
Hit that donate button. It's right underneath the chat. Hit that donate button, not just for us.
If you're watching on mobile, you just turn your phone hot dog style.
Vertical.
Yep. And it's right underneath. The first thing you'll see where the bio usually is. If you're watching on browser, it's legitimately right under the chat.
Can I comment something? By the way, Glenn.
Damon, I think you have great eyebrows.
Thank you.
Yeah,
man.
I'm looking right now.
Thank you,
not as good as mine. I think I have the best eyebrows in the office.
This is a funny conversation that Glenn brings up here, and this is how I know that they're like ASU fans are like talking about me in group chats because they all come after me for my eyebrows for some reason. This is like become a thing.
They're not in group chats. It's all on message boards.
Yeah, but it's become a thing. Like people, like now ASU fans are like, nice eyebrows, bro, and I'm like, thanks.
I think you have good ones.
But even if I didn't,
I don't like your school, but your eyebrows are fine.
But even if I didn't, like, am I gonna sit there and cry at night because
Glenn doesn't like your eyebrows?
Glenn doesn't like my eyebrows. Damn.
Hit that donate button. Make sure you hit it fast. Make sure you get Damon in some ASU colors there. Definitely not me. I will not be wearing U of A colors because I know that y'all are gonna have my back. And donate, Damon. We appreciate you. I will see you in about 40 minutes.
Appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, I thought that went well, everybody. I thought that was actually pretty tame, pretty calm. Got him to relinquish his awful take about Jacob Kingaika. I mean, that was maybe one of the worst. That was one of the worst takes of all time from Damon. So I'm really glad that we have that settled away. You know what, Shane? I feel like that was productive for us.
Yeah, I think it was healthy.
We barely got to what the topic of conversation was really as far as what are people stealing. So we are going to do that. And something else I realized, Shane, we didn't decide if or what we're going to snake draft today because it is Wednesday. So maybe we hold on to that for later in the week.
Maybe we can punt on this week. If Totri's not here, we're not doing a one-on-one snake draft.
No. I mean, we used to.
I don't want to do that.
It's okay. We're not going to do that. We will keep on talking about ceilings, offense, defense, everything in between. Y'all hit that donate button. It's for a good cause. It's not for us. It's for Big Brothers, Big Sisters.
Well, it's also for us, so we can make sure we don't have to wear any
we'll
shirts.
benefit of it, but we're not getting the money, right? Yes. This money is for Big Brothers, Big Sisters fundraiser. It goes to them. That's why we're not doing super chats, so that all of the money that you guys do in that donate button, make sure you hit that. We'll be back with more right after our first break. If you're remodeling your home, if you're remodeling your business, it might be easy to look at the walls or the exterior, and you're not really thinking about what's below your feet, right? But stay 10 toes down and pick Empire today to revamp and refurbish your place. Now, why Empire today? Well, because you're going to get clear upfront all-inclusive pricing. That's a check. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. That's a check. Plus, you can get an in-home estimate so they can tell you and show you exactly what flooring fits right with your furniture, with your walls, with your style of house, and maybe why your current floor is the way that it is. Maybe you need to focus more on floor that's easy to upkeep and maintain if it's for a business or if you have a lot of people coming in and out of your home. Maybe you need a more delicate flooring that looks better with your home. Empire today, they're flooring sickos. They're flooring freaks in the most complimentary way possible. It's their entire life. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better off at home. PHNX listeners can receive a $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. That's right, a $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. Visit empireday.com/PHNX for full details. If you're living, you're using energy. And if you're using energy, you're paying for it. And did you know that nearly half of the energy costs come from cooling and heating? With summer here, it's time to get smart about savings. That's with your APS Smart Thermostat. Help you manage your energy bill. Smart thermostats work with your APS rate plan to maximize comfort and convenience while minimizing your energy costs. If you're on an APS time of use plan, which I know that I am, use your smartphone or device to automatically adjust the thermostat to take advantage of lower cost off-peak hours. APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats. Forget this, as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you're not sure how to install a smart thermostat, don't worry about it. Free install also available at the APS Marketplace. If you already have a smart thermostat at home, congratulations. See if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards. Find instant rebates, discounts, and special offers on smart thermostats, energy-efficient appliances, and more at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Visit marketplace.aps.com for more information. Shane, I'm feeling pretty good after that first segment.
Let's feel pretty bad real fast.
Okay.
Because Glenn brings up Nayland Scott, who is taking a visit to Nebraska. He's good as gone, right? Kenny's not going to stand for that.
Because that's what we saw with Israel Briggs. Now, Israel Briggs, I don't believe, was specifically dropped from Arizona State. We've learned some information from there, but he went on a visit to Michigan and then was no longer at Arizona State. Usually, if you're here, you're here. And if you're going somewhere else, you don't end up here. There's not really a lot of in between.
I would be shocked if he ends up as a Sun Devil, which stinks because he's what,
4-star?
A 4-star receiver that looks like he's going to be good.
What's up with those losing receivers, man?
I don't know.
Adrian Wilson?
Adrian Wilson has lost himself, I think.
Adrian Wilson has entered the transfer portal again in the last 5 seconds. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Thanks for the alert, Glenn. That's not great. But you know what? Let's focus on what is great, which is this current Arizona State team. Shane, what do you think is Sam Leavitt's ceiling for this season?
It's definitely Heisman. I think you're a fool if you think it's not Heisman. I think you're blind if you think it's not Heisman. Like this is a guy who is in the top, I think 8 or 9 in Heisman odds. That just going by facts or not facts, excuse me. Just going by trends, that's his ceiling for sure. I mean, is there a better ceiling than being a Heisman? Sure, you can be a record-breaking Heisman. You can be the best quarterback in franchise or in school history. But I think right now, temper your expectations. Saying Heisman's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like Sam Leavitt we've covered. Let's go to some other players on this offense. Obviously, after Leavitt, you go to Jordyn Tyson. Jordyn Tyson's ceiling to me, I want to say Biletnikoff. There's so much really, really high level wide receiver talent, especially this year in college football, that it does feel like, being in contention for the Biletnikoff is in its own right, like its own award, because even going off and getting the Biletnikoff feels a little bit unrealistic, even at Jordyn Tyson's peak and his ceiling. I think that his peak, his ceiling is certified best wide receiver in the Big 12, certified top 3 receiver in college football, and certified first round pick. Does that feel like I'm far off, Shane?
Yeah,
Ceiling.
Yeah. I don't think you're far off at all. Yeah, I think you're right about the landscape. I think you just have two. You have two. Not only do you have two electric young wide receivers that have so much hype going into this year, in Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith, but you also have two electric up and coming wide receivers that are receivers. They're not Jordyn Tyson do-it-alls. They are receivers. They're going to make those sexy plays. They're going to have those 200-plus yard games. Jordyn Tyson can do that as well, but Jordyn Tyson's so good and valuable because he can do everything. He can block. He can run.
He loves blocking.
He can run every single type of route. These, like the two guys that are favorited for the Blitnikoff are two guys that specialize in being certified X receivers that are burners, and you think of a more prototypical.
They're not going to be doing
receiver.
as much of the dirty work as Jordyn Tyson's going to be asked to do. I think the running back position is the most interesting position when we talk about ceiling, because obviously it's the one that had the most change over the offseason with Cam Skattebo leaving. And we have an anonymous donation, $40 to Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. Thank you. If you want to claim that donation in chat, you can. It does not have to stay anonymous. If you want to read and send off a chat, you could donate below and send us a chat. Say, hey, I just donated, or it'll say your name when you donated. We'll read it just like a super chat. Thank you so much. Help us beat the U of A show. Donate. Thank you so much. Okay, the running back room, Kanye Udoh and Kyson Brown. Out of those two, and I like Raleek, but I do feel like the battle for number one is between those two. Who has the higher ceiling? Is it the guy who has over 1,000 yards season already in college and Kanye Udoh when he was with Army last season, or is it the one who's been waiting in the wings and we saw flashes at Arizona State last year in Kyson Brown?
It's tough because, if you look at this, you look at the offense, or you look at a returner, and you look at how good this offense was last year, and immediately you think, okay, he's going to slot in and be as productive as what this running back room was last year. But it's unfair to say because you had an anomaly in college football in Cam Skattebo. So I think if that wasn't the case, you would obviously go with Kyson Brown. Kanye Udoh has proven to do it and proven to do it at a high volume. But I'm still going to say Kyson Brown because he is a guy who not only has been here and seen it, but he's a guy who is talented enough to take that next, or was talented enough to get snaps last year, like real snaps, and he's going to take another big step. I think what we know what Kanye Udoh is, and his floor is higher than Kyson Brown's.
I would agree with that. I think there's an argument for Udoh to maybe say that he has a higher ceiling because of the size and the speed that he has. I think there's a chance that he can hit a level as a power back that I don't know if Kyson can. I mean, he was looking ripped in that picture he posted the other day. But I do think that there's so much potential with Kyson that if the floor, and maybe there's a chance that Kanye's ceiling ends up being higher than Kyson, but I do think the absolute top for Kyson Brown is the highest out of the running back room. I think that he has a chance to really solidify himself as one of the best running backs in the Big 12. And I think Kanye has that too. And honestly, I don't want to forget about Raleek. I think Raleek is a little bit more of a Swiss Army knife. And I think Raleek's ceiling is this gadget guy that's used, almost every possession just to kind of keep the defense on their toes. And we have another anonymous donation. $70. That brings the total to $110 for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America in the last 5 minutes. Take credit for it in the chat if you want to. Y'all, this is a great cause. That is amazing stuff. Not even going to ask you to hit the like button on this video. All I want you to do is hit that donate button, baby. Let's beat those U of A fools. And boom, $7 donation for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. Y'all are awesome. That's $117 in the last 5 minutes for a fantastic cause. Thank you all so much.
And again, not only for a fantastic cause for Big Brothers Big Sisters, but a fantastic cause for ASU fans.
Oh, this ain't Mike says those were mine. F U of A, 70-7. He donated 70 and then he donated 7. This ain't Mike. Come on,
That's
dude.
great.
That's great. Awesome, Mike. I absolutely love it. Let the hate fuel you. Donations are rolling in now. Sharon's saying it in the chat. If you're listening on audio and you feel left out, don't feel left out. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel. You can hit the donate button on any of our live videos, on any of our other videos as well. Plus, I do believe that we have a donate button or a link to donate in the audio description.
Yep, and we're doing this until Friday, so if you're hearing this...
Tomorrow's going to be a big, tomorrow's going to be like big focused on it, but we're focusing on it every day. $5 donation from Glenn.
Wow, thank you, Glenn.
There we go. Okay, so we've got, it was 70 to 7, so it was 117, so we have $123. Quick maths. Thank you very much.
Wrong maths.
Was that wrong?
Yeah, it's 82 and then 40. It's 100. It's 120.
Oh, I added wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. 123.
You would be a really good telephone host.
Oh, dude, I agree.
You would be a very good telephone host.
Maybe that's what we do tomorrow. Geez, Glenn, that's crazy. Okay.
Okay, let's get back on track.
Anybody else on the offense, Shane? Because I know we spent a lot of time on these main guys.
I think the offensive line as a whole.
So the offensive line as a whole is interesting because you do have to look at them as a unit. That was somebody where when we had Ben Coleman on yesterday, he was talking about how people were shocked at how much the offensive line were able to move players, especially against a team like Texas. Do you feel like this can be the best offensive line in the Big 12?
Maybe.
Obviously, you lose Leaf, but you add Jamedo Abigbo. You add Jalen Clem, who hopefully can get back to his playing style at Washington when he was a part of the highest awarded offensive line in the country when they went to the national championship. So I do wonder if this can become a dominant room for Arizona State.
Yeah, I think it's the offensive line is so unpredictable for every situation. So saying that there is a bona fide favorite is hard in this conference. But yeah, they certainly can be.
I think the potential's there. I really liked what I heard from Ben yesterday, and maybe I would change my mind a bit if I hadn't heard that. I think offensive line was one of those positions going into the season that I felt like you could look at, not necessarily as a question mark, but maybe as a, do they have the heights that they can reach, right? Like, I think they could be solid, but do they have that next level, especially losing and what we project to be an NFL player in Leaf? I think that with Ben saying how seriously they're taking their body, the camaraderie there, I'm a big fan of Coach Saga as well. I think there's a chance that maybe if they're not the best, they're never a question mark on this team. And if that's what your offensive line is, and I think that's a massive, massive, massive win. Okay. I think that on offense, is there any wild card, Shane, that you feel like maybe have the highest ceiling? Is there a running back we haven't talked about? Is it Jalen Moss? Sharon says, I will donate another $10. Erik, those U of A hat behind him off the camera. Come on. Get out of here. Here.
Perfect.
That's another $10 right there, Sharon. Looking forward to seeing that donation. Any interest in a ceiling on a Jalen Moss? Is Jaron Hamilton the lowest floor, highest ceiling guy on the offense?
I think so. I totally think so. Seeing him in person, he's got everything. He's
the burner.
Well, but he's also one of those guys where you when you see a receiver that is uber talented, you can just kind of tell by the way they move. Like, this is not a comparison, but this is like the height of the height. Like Justin Jefferson, for example, when he's running routes, he almost looks like he's running in slow motion while he's running, sub 4.3 speed. In an out route or out and up, whatever. You see these routes and you would think he's going slow and he's going fast because he's moving so easily. That's how Jaron Hamilton moves. He's bendable, he's flexible, he's fast, he does it with ease. And so yeah, I think his ceiling is so high. And I don't even know if I'd put his floor that low just because of the program he came to. Like, you don't get an offer from Alabama for nothing.
It's true. I think there's another argument for somebody who might have the sneaky highest ceiling on the offense. It's a name that we've fallen in love with here on PHNX Sun Devils. Freshman tight end AJ. The story of you, Sharon, donating $20. Come on, folks. This is awesome. This is putting a big smile on my face. Thank you all so much.
Freshman today.
Quick maths guy. Can you do the math for me real quick?
142.
142. Thank you. Oh, I forgot what the first number was. That's really easy math. That was kind of embarrassing. Not a good look for Arizona State University. But AJ Ia, I think, being the biggest unknown, probably has the lowest floor out of everybody we've talked about. Listen.
That's crazy.
Listen, he hasn't played a snap of college football.
Well,
right? Like, I don't think he gets anywhere near. I think he's going to play as a true freshman on a Big 12 champion team.
I don't think you can say low floor. I think you can say unknown floor, which I guess.
Okay, I guess. But that's what I'm saying is, like, because it's unknown and we haven't seen him play.
He's already hit his ceiling because he's touching it with his head.
That's true.
He is a massive human being.
Glenn, I don't know what you mean by saying give the hat the French toast treatment. I don't know what that means.
I probably
said think movie road trip.
If you don't know what it means, probably don't say it out loud.
I mean, it is what it is. Whatever. Okay. By the way, collectively across ALLCITY, we're almost at $6,000. So it's almost been $1,000 today across all of ALLCITY.
Big day today.
Big day. We're over halfway to our $10,000 raise for ALLCITY. So make sure you hit that donate button. Big day today. Big day tomorrow. Big day Friday. Let's bring this thing home. This ain't Mike. I don't know, and I'm not saying that. Okay. I think that AJ Ia might have the biggest variance because he is a true freshman that we just don't know about, but we're all extremely, extremely high on him here. Are there any other names that it feels like we're forgetting so far? Shimon feels so solid. I mean, he was first team all Big 12. So quietly, which is kind of weird because, like, my initial instinct is to say he doesn't have the highest ceiling, but he might have the highest floor.
Where do you
out
think,
of everybody?
Yeah, I like that. Where do you think he can improve the most coming into this year?
Maybe, like, he's very safe, right? He's a very safe tight end. He was very much like Sam's security blanket. But to me, if you can break out a little bit and have some more deeper routes, maybe work on your speed slightly as well. He wasn't really a yak guy. It was a possession, like, very short to mid-range type of passes. If you can work on that speed a little bit and maybe run some more complex, deeper routes just to keep the defense on their toes, that's what I like. But his hands were solid. Like, his body control, because some of the balls that he was being thrown were pretty poor from Sam because they were in bad positions. I think there's not a ton of room for improvement on what I think he can bring, but if he can up that speed a little bit, I think that's a pretty big layer for the Sun Devil offense.
Yeah. Big Ten Jet is saying Jalen Moss, and what I think he's talking about is Kamari Anderson, tight end transfer from Kentucky.
Yeah, Kamari Anderson. I'm not as familiar with. Jalen Moss, I don't know, doesn't feel like a super high ceiling guy, but feels like, much like Shimon, a very, very high floor.
I don't know, dude. He has a lot of room to grow. He put up a pretty solid season at, while it's, a group of 4 team in Fresno State, like it was
like 600 yards?
Yeah, almost 600 yards.
Yeah. Like he's good. I just from seeing him again, I don't see this tape of, like, this person who I don't think he reaches 1,000 yards. Like, I think if there's another wide receiver to reach 1,000 yards, honestly, it might be Jaron Hamilton, even though it's maybe like you'd get longer odds at the beginning of the season, but with the burner and the high ceiling there. But I think if you're betting on, I need somebody to get 500 yards this season, my life depends on it, and their name's not named Jordyn Tyson or Shimon Mateer, I think it's Jalen Moss, right? So I just see him more as a steady option. Maybe that's unfair to put his ceiling as low. I think there's a lot of fun conversations on offense, but I think what really takes this team to the next level is what is the ceiling for this defense? We think collectively a top 10 unit in the country. That's what X said with us earlier this week. But what about his individual ceiling? What about CJ Fite? Does CJ Fite have the highest ceiling on anybody on the team, anybody on the defense? We're going to unpack that, plus take more of your donations, more of your chats, and we're skipping a snake draft this week because Anthony Totri ducked it, but we're getting into everything else after our final break. It's so easy to spend money in today's day and age, and that makes life not so easy. So it's really great when you get places like Mountain America Credit Union, who are giving you 2 times the points on rewards credit cards from now until July 31st. Use your Mountain America rewards card and watch the points pile up along with the over 1 million other members through the 100 branches that they have throughout the West. It's perfect for gas, groceries, travel, home projects, any purchase. I'm getting gas today. I can use my Mountain America Credit Union double rewards card and get twice the amount of points that can stretch my dollar, get travel rebates, which I'm always looking to travel, even though, never take a vacation or sick day, if you know what I mean. Gift cards, event tickets, and so much more. It's a limited time only, so you want to make sure you take advantage of this deal while you can from now until July 31st. There are more details at macu.com/double. Loans are on approved credit. Offers can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions, well, guess what? They do apply. We mentioned it earlier with Damon about Vimy. VMe me, bro. Listen, anyone, anything, anytime, there's finally an app that you can bet people with. VMe is a proud partner to PHNX to launch a brand new way to bet. Now, it doesn't need to be money wagers, but it's perfect for money wagers. If you don't want that guy, the Venmo guy, oh yeah, no, I'll Venmo you. No, I got you. I'm gonna skimp out on that. That's not happening with VMe. No. You can do anything. Sports, video games, fantasy matchups, golf games, poker, push-up contests, who chugs faster. If there's money on the line or it's a free wager, it's VMe time. There's one-on-one challenges, group challenges. It's all one universal place for you to not duck your competition. And I know everybody here is a competitive type, so no more chasing cash. Don't trust the Venmo guy, and I know you don't either. With VMe, send a bet, and all the money is collected up front. No more I'll pay you later. No more sore losers. It all is sent beforehand. If you have a disagreement or you want to antagonize another person, say, hey, listen, I don't think you can do this. I go to Damon. I don't think you can raise as much money as we raise here on the PHNX Sun Devils show. Well, you can VMe me and we can settle it there. Download the VMe app and play today using code PHNX, available on the App Store and Google Play. VMe, anyone, anything, anytime. Woo! I feel like we are flying through this show. Deli man, flying. And there we go. Hopefully, we see a lot of great players flying around on Arizona State's defense. Before we get to that, I want to remind people we're in a competition with the U of A show for donations. We have raised $142 over the last 30 minutes of the show. Thank you. I believe Sharon donated, Glenn, This Ain't Mike, for a great cause. Thank you all so much. If I'm missing anybody, let me know. Would love to personally thank you as well. Okay. We talked to Xavion Alford earlier this week, and I think that it's fair to say that his ceiling is All-American, right? Which is top 2 at his position in the country. Is there anybody on the defense who has a higher ceiling than X is the question.
Technically top 4 because I
top
don't
4 because there's 2 teams.
Well, no.
Or is there 4
the safety position? Because
yeah,
I don't think
right.
they discriminate between free and strong. What was the question?
Is there anybody on the defense who has a higher ceiling individually?
CJ Fite.
I think CJ Fite has an argument, like,
just because of the untapped potential with this kid.
For me, CJ might be the biggest sleeper first-round pick on this team. There is a chance that the storyline from ASU during this season is Sam Leavitt's great, X is great, they're so solid. But they have a first-round pick.
They have a game record.
They have a game record in CJ Fite, who's one of the best in the country at his position.
Yeah, Keith Abney, Glenn points out, also a good one.
I like Abney. I think he has a really high ceiling. I would not put his ceiling higher than Fite or X. I'd put him probably in top 5 on the defense, but I wouldn't put it above those two.
Well, yeah, just from a product of the position he plays at corner, like, impact-wise, I think overall X has a wider and bigger impact because he controls that defense. But, like, in terms of the ability to alter a game, I think Keith Abney could – I think he could eke him out in terms of higher ceiling just because of the potential. Like, he could take over a game by locking down a number 1 receiver.
Sure. Where does Javen fall into all of this? Just some big plays from Javen Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's being slept on the most.
I mean, I think is this the certified top 5 in no specific order? X, CJ, Keith, Javen, Keyshawn Elliott?
Yeah, if you want to throw a linebacker in there. That whole linebacker room was so solid.
They're solid, but I think going into last season, I would have put Keyshawn's ceiling as maybe the highest. And now I'm feeling more of like he's solid. I don't know if the ceiling is as high as I thought it would be going into last season.
Yeah, I think Clayton maybe you can put in there.
Clayton's interesting. I want to say I'm expecting a big season from Clayton Smith, but last season just didn't go, I think, exactly the way that he expected it to. Obviously, the injury at the start of it threw a wrench in it as well. I would love to see a little bit more from him. I think body type and pure ceiling wise, he might be one of the dark horses to be in the top 5 there. I'm trying to think anybody. Prince Dorba is somebody that fascinating going into last season. Obviously, again, injury came in, was a little bit off track when he started and never got to that production level that you expected him to be one of your best guys off of the edge. I wonder if his ceiling is much higher than we're thinking because he had a relatively down season last year. I think CJ I'm going to put number 1. I'm going to put CJ number 1 as far as has a potential highest ceiling, complete game record, complete game changer. I think some individual plays, pressure on the quarterback. We talk about this defensive line needs to get better at getting to the quarterback. He could be a huge part of that. I'll put X second, Keith third, Javen fourth. And then fifth between Keyshawn, Clayton, Prince Dorba. I'll go Keyshawn. I still very much believe in Keyshawn Elliott. I think Keyshawn Elliott's going to be very, very solid for this team. Am I missing anybody on defense who's like, yeah, that should be a top 5 guy?
No, not top 5. The only other
Ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, dude is a tackle machine.
He just impacts the game in a weird way, where he'll come out of nowhere, and he's more of a specialist to me.
Yeah, but he's so consistent in getting tackles and a nose for the football, right?
For sure. Also looking at the interior defensive line transfers, what's that kid's name? Michael Gardner from Oregon, and then the other kid from Washington State, Rashad McKenzie. Just because of how many snaps they're going to be able to play.
Yeah, I mean that is a position that Kenny said they needed some help at.
I guess Rashad McKenzie's more of an outside guy.
Yeah, I struggle with some of these transfers. Like a Nyland as well, and looking at their ceiling. Obviously, it was Breedlove, I believe, was a 5-star. It was one of those two. It was either Nyland or Breedlove that were a 5-star before their time at Purdue. And you always want to look at the ceiling there, kind of like how you looked at with Jaron Hamilton as well. You think to yourself, like, is this somebody who, because they weren't in Arizona State's system last year, because we didn't get to see them play, and we've kind of fallen in love with all the names that we've talked about, CJ, X, Keith, Javen, Ghost, Keyshawn, like Watley, I think you throw in there as well. Like, these are all names, and Kingaika as well. I think Kingaika's a great pull for somebody who might be sneaky, able to put themselves in the top 5 when it comes to ceiling. When you look at all of that, I do wonder if we're underrating some of these potential transfers as impact makers on defense.
Yeah. You just never know until they fit into this system. Like, you just never know what that's going to look like. So it's hard to say.
Sorry, the Bus family's going to sell the Lakers.
That's wild.
Huh. Interesting. Not for this show, though. That'll be for a 3. Big Ten said, what about Mikhail Gardner? We talked about him. I mean, coming from a big school, opportunity for snaps. I haven't been able to watch his game, obviously, as much as I've watched some of these other guys, and we've seen them grow. When it comes to comparing offense and defense, I think it's clear to me that Sam Leavitt has the highest overall ceiling out of anybody. But when it comes down to number 2, when you talk about Jordyn Tyson, Xavion Alford, CJ Fite, Kyson Brown, even Ben Coleman, I wonder who the second highest ceiling is, because I think instincts initially put you towards Jordyn Tyson, but I don't know if that's like positional bias, because it's like, oh, well, it's the quarterback and it's a wide receiver. Yeah. That's what we're talking about the most.
So those are also your 2 best players last year outside of Cam Skattebo. So, no, I don't think that's unfair to do that.
Then who's third overall? CJ, X.
Yeah, probably CJ.
Man, I cannot wait to watch CJ Fite play football.
What about the coaches?
The highest ceiling?
Who gets better?
Kenny.
Well, duh.
Like, Arroyo's already the best offensive coordinator in the country. I literally.
You believe that?
He was the only offensive coach finalist for the Broyles Award, which is the best assistant coach in the country.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
I think if
that is crazy to think about.
If it's hyperbole, me saying that, I think that you could find a lot of people in the country who would agree with me. Maybe not like nationally. You probably have some bigger names than Marcus Arroyo, but I've got a lot of faith in him. B Ward D-Cord already had a solid defense, but his unit.
I think he has a lot of room to experiment and have fun.
Yeah,
because they had a lot of fun last year.
His unit individually probably has the highest ceiling. Like collectively, the defensive unit versus the offensive unit. As much as I love Sam and Tyson, you say those are the 2 highest. I think as far as collective talent, this defense probably has a higher ceiling than the offense. And I think with Brian Ward that there's a chance for him to really certify himself as a shutdown defensive coordinator. JJ says Mo Odom has the highest ceiling.
Yep, definitely. Mo Odom. I think Bryson Long would have had it if he stayed here.
Yeah, we have a whole deep dive into Bryson Long coming tomorrow. JJ.
No, we don't. Don't promise him that.
So don't you worry about that. Okay, what about the ceiling for the whole team? Best case scenario. Can this team win a national championship, win a game in the college football playoffs? Is it just win the Big 12 and you're happy with it? Like that's what you could do. Like, what is the ceiling of this team, which is so fun because I just got flashbacks to last season where it's like, yeah, maybe they could make a bowl.
I think it's unfair to set an expectation that their ceiling could be national champions, but like this last season was so ridiculous that it's not that insane to say.
Well, it's what if they improve in certain and they lose Cam Skattebo, right? But let's just say that at the end of the day, you get to the end of the regular season, you win the Big 12. Let's say this is universally accepted as a better ASU team, top 10 team, right? Like there's no mistake about it. That's on the table, right? Improving off last season's on the table.
Just
You're one win away from advancing in the college football playoffs.
I would say just because of how drastic the landscape of college football has changed in the past literally 3 years, that maybe 3 years ago I would say there's no chance because of how good the top of the top was. And now it's just like you never know. I still think probably their ceiling is making it to the Final Four.
Second
teams.
Yeah, I think winning a college football playoff game,
maybe making the national championship.
And that's
you know what? No, I think making the national championship.
And I think if you're there, then your ceiling is winning it.
Well,
like I mean, and I get TCU. Yeah, TCU would disagree. I know TCU got not screwed, but they destroyed. Glenn says ceiling is Big 12 ship and playoff appearance. I never say natty because that's just luck and so hard to do. But if you're in the mix as a top 10 team, you stay healthy and other people around you are.
I think it's unfair to just to say it.
Natty. Yeah. I think realistic ceiling is winning the Big 12 and winning a college football playoff game. I think that's realistic ceiling. I think if you're talking like literal best case scenario, all the cards fall in your favor, injuries fall in your favor, you stay fully healthy, and all these players that we talked about are 90% of them hitting their individual ceiling, and they're going to be NFL players and they're just game wreckers on both sides of the ball. In best case scenario, you could talk yourself into this team could compete for a national championship, right? But then you're going up against the Ohio States. You're going up against the Georgias, the Bamas, whoever might be at the top of that part. I think it's unfair to put that on them, but I do think that this team has also earned the right to say, like, even if it's a 0.001% chance, there's a chance.
Yeah.
Are they the only Big 12 team with a chance? If any other team even wins the Big 12.
I think that's unfair to say because of how quickly I don't think you can say that nobody has a chance just because of how volatile this conference has been.
And Big Ten Jet said special teams would be better. You're going to have a shot at it. If ASU had a kicker last year, I mean, how different is that season? Right? I mean, you could argue that they're a kicker away from even being like significantly more dominant, considering some of the situations that they got put into, especially in that Peach Bowl game as well. I do think that there's a high bar and there's a high floor for this team, but that ceiling is absolutely intriguing. Let us know down.
Guess what Arizona State's odds are to make the college football playoff via Bet365?
Plus 10,000.
To make the college football playoff?
Yeah.
No, it's plus 450.
Okay.
But I still think that's...
I don't know. I was just expecting disrespect.
I mean, I think that's disrespectful. Plus 450
to win the Big 12. I mean, it's basically just plus 450 to win a Big 12 because they're not going to get an at-large bid.
Well, Kansas State is plus 400.
Yeah, Kansas State is darlings in college football playoff predictions. BYU is the darling in the top 25 predictions. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Let me see what the championship odds are. Texas, Ohio State are basically tied even. ASU is... So that's interesting. To make the college football playoff, Kansas State is plus 400, ASU is plus 450. To win the national championship, Kansas State is plus 10,000, ASU is plus 8,000. So they have shorter odds in that regard.
That's so weird. I don't know. You would know more about that than I
well,
would.
I think
why that'd be the case.
I think it's just because of the ceilings that we're talking
about.
Well,
I think if ASU makes it, then
that's what this is saying. They have the highest ceiling in the Big 12. Kansas State might have the highest floor.
Well, speaking of high numbers, high things, we just crossed for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America $6,000 raised across all of ALLCITY. Get your donations in while you can, but here's the thing. It doesn't stop with this show. Sun show, U of A show, Diamondback
Don't
show,
donate
Cardinal
to the U of A show today, though.
Do not donate on the U of A show, but I will be heading over there pretty soon. So go ahead and check that out. Make sure you hit that donate button. Come donate on Suns. Espo will be matching all donations on Suns. Help us get to $10,000 across all of ALLCITY. But until then, you can follow the show at PHNX_Sun Devils. We all hope that Anthony Totri is feeling better. A bad case of the Wednesdays, also known as tummy troubles. But you can follow him at Anthony_Totri. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY, also known as the dumbest guy alive. You can follow the dummy man behind the Mac, making all the magic happen at Shane Deef.
Making sure people don't do crazy things like This Ain't Mike said, saying, if we trade KD to the Raptors today, I'm putting $2,000 on ASU winning the Natty.
Love that, Mike.
That's
Love
insane.
that.
As always.
Mike donated $77 today.
He can do whatever he wants.
72.7. So you can do whatever you want, Mike. Especially tune in when I appear on Wildcats in like literally a singular minute. And of course, Suns show at 3:00 today. Counter Watch continues.
I'll be there at the end of the Suns show talking college hoops.
Shane,
JJ?
Shane will be making an appearance on the Suns show. That's breaking news here. In the meantime, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.